course I do. I never met anyone like you before.
I'm Langston.
I'm Star. Why are you in school?
Same reason you're not? Because we both have better things to do, right?
Didn't take us long to realize that we got each other. I had never had a best friend until I met you. We've been through so much together. Oh my gosh, I am definitely not reading anymore. Oh, come on, I'm sorry. It's just so touching. Okay, I'll stop. Please continue. Okay, last and least, I want to make good friends with funny, smart people.
What do you think about him? You feel great.
That's a tiger! Now, if you don't stop, I'm gonna stop being your friend. Yeah, see, that's where you and I are different. I prefer my friends to be unfunny and stupid. Thank you, Langston. Oh, don't take offense. I made an exception with you, BFF. Foster cousins. Sisters. You'll always be my best friend. You'll always be my...
Clint.
You don't want to talk about Dorian meeting with McNaughton?
Well, there's nothing to talk about. Whatever plan Dorian had. I mean, she didn't go through with it.
How do you know?
Well, because she went to the airport. She took Langston and handed him over to her Uncle Ray Montez.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was so upset about Langston leaving us. I thought I'd go practice my thrusts and parries. Work out my frustration.
Actually, Addie, if you had a minute, I wouldn't mind
Detective,
talking
the
to you.
only reason I drove that past was because it was on my list, and there wasn't any traffic.
Okay. I heard you visited Dorian in jail.
Yes.
And a man named Jackie McNaughton showed up?
Dorian asked me to call him for her.
Well, and you did, Mama?
I thought she wanted him to help her get out of jail, but it must have been something else because he came here to see her.
McNaughton came here.
Yes. It was yesterday morning, I think. Wasn't it, Blair? Because Dorian had just gotten out of jail, and while she was having a meeting with Mr. McNaughton, we were talking about you and...
Yeah, Mother, you're right. It was yesterday morning. That's correct. And before you say anything, John, McNaughton showed up here right after Dorian said she had a plan.
I don't get it. What are you doing here? You come here to gloat?
You're the one who brought him here. You can fix this.
Your Aunt Dorian can fix it. She's had the power all along to stop this from happening. But for some reason, she's choosing to give up Langston.
The court gave Langston's uncle custody. How could Dr. Lord stop him?
I explained to Dorian that I could get Mr. Montez to give up custody of Langston if she returned Buchanan Enterprises to my family. All she had to do was sign a couple of papers. But she turned me down several times. I don't know what this is. I think it's her greed and desire to get revenge against me. It outweighs her love for Langston.
And Dorian, is what Mr. Buchanan just said true?
Why didn't you tell me Dorian met with McNaughton?
Because she didn't do anything wrong. I told you, she took Langston to the airport to hand Langston over to her uncle, Ray Montez.
Just tell me about the meeting.
I don't know anything about the meeting. Dorian came here, she said she had a plan. McNaughton showed up. They walked in there, they closed the doors, and I have no idea what they even said.
I do.
You do?
Yes, I forgot. I asked her who the man was, and she said, she told me he was the exterminator.
Mr. Buchanan is using Langston as a pawn. And he doesn't care in the least that he may be ruining her life in order to blackmail me. And somehow he's really surprised that I don't want to give him what he's asking for.
And why don't you?
Because any man who is capable of such despicable actions is never, ever going to live up to an agreement that he signs. I mean, he's willingly done business with Mr. Montez, a criminal who probably committed a murder.
I don't care about Langston at all. Everything you said was a lie.
Son, stay out.
I'm not your son! If there's any way you can stop him from taking Langston away, you have to do it. Isn't she more important to you than some stupid company?
Yes, of course she is.
Then give Mr. Buchanan what he wants.
Yeah, Dorian, you have to. You cannot let Langston go away with that creep.
Dorian said the guy that came here was the exterminator.
Yes. She must have some kind of pest problem. Now, Detective, if you don't have any more questions, I'm off to parry and riposte. That means defend myself from attack and fighting back.
By all means.
Well, John, you think Dorian is defending herself against Clint and fighting back?
Only McNaughton was here to stop the cockroaches in the kitchen.
McNaughton's not a killer, is he?
Hey, Fish, it's McBain. Hey, do me a favor. Can you, ask around, see if you can come up with anybody suspected or questioned in a paid hit. Also, check the profile, see if that matches anyone that's been released from Statesville lately, all right? I'm on the cell. Call me.
Dorian would not hire a hitman, John.
Hey.
Well, where are you going?
Airport.
Well, then I'll go with you.
Why?
Because I can maybe get Dorian to talk for you. Come on.
Marco, believe me, if I thought all I needed to do was sign some papers Clint wants me to sign and it would automatically guarantee that Langston could stay in the country.
You don't need to explain, Dorian. I understand.
You do?
Yes. Because Mr. Buchanan was blackmailing you, and that means he can't be trusted. I had nothing to do with what happened with his company, but that doesn't seem to really matter to Mr. Buchanan. He's still willing to hand me over to a criminal and let him take me out of this country. My wonderful, caring uncle has custody of me now. And if you give in to Mr. Buchanan, what's going to stop my uncle from blackmailing you? Mr. Buchanan clearly has no conscience and doesn't care at all that he's ruining my life. And once blackmail starts, it never stops. Don't stoop to their level. I've always been so proud that someone like you would adopt me. And I still am. You're here. I'm touching you.
All I could think about was getting back to you.
I was so afraid, even when you called.
What happened? How did you end up in Colombia?
Well,
You must be Sarah.
Yeah. Sarah, who are you?
I'm Vanessa, and this is my stepdaughter, Lola.
Carlo Hesser drugged me up and dumped me in a Colombian prison. Vanessa here helped me get out.
And in return, he saved our lives.
I think you have your answer, Mr. Buchanan.
I guess that's it.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, that's it? I am not gonna get stuck dragging that girl back to Colombia. You hear me? You told me this plan was impossible.
Obviously, the plan is changing, all right? And I'm gonna show Dorian that I am dead serious.
I will not get on the plane with that girl.
Then you'll be right back in prison. Because the people I squeezed to get you out would be more than willing to put you right back in, and that is not what you want, is it, Mr. Montez? I didn't think so. Don't threaten me, and don't panic. This is gonna work. I will call you.